Hey, it's Tim, K5OHY. So I put up a new antenna here at the house the other day, and I thought I'd make a quick video on that antenna and why I chose it. So I put up a 40-meter horizontal loop. Full wavelength loop antennas have some very interesting characteristics. First of all, you can use them on a bunch of different bands, and it remains a highly efficient antenna on all those bands. It also has some really nice low angle radiation, especially as you go up in frequency. And a lot of people report that they pick up less noise or interference than some other antennas. Now, 80-meter loops are fairly popular, especially with those that have been around the hobby for quite a while. My first exposure to this antenna was during field day. Our club actually deploys a full 80-meter loop for field day. We set up at the local weather center, and we support the antenna on 2 of their towers, and on the 3rd side, we just run a line to a building. And we use that for a single sideband station. During the wee hours of the morning, I snuck over to that station with my CW key and tried it out on 40 meters and 20 meters. And I was fairly impressed with that antenna. So I started kind of researching loop antennas. Now, an 80-meter loop is simply 80 meters of wire. It's approximately 280 feet. The exact length isn't necessarily important as long as you get kind of close to 80 meters. It can be any shape, triangle, square. Most likely for most deployments, it'll be kind of irregular or a trapezoid shape. Now, we feed this antenna with ladder line, and you can feed it either from one of the corners or on one of the sides. And if you have a tuner with a balanced input, you can simply run the ladder line to your balanced input on your tuner and tune it on basically the fundamental band it's cut for and all the bands above it. If you don't have a balanced input or you're not able to run the ladder line into the shack, you can run that ladder line to a 4-to-1 balun and then have a short run of coax to your tuner. Now, the radiation patterns of this antenna are going to depend on the height above ground, the shape of the antenna, and the feed point location. On the lower frequencies, this is going to be mostly an NVIS antenna just because of the height above ground. But as you move higher in frequency on the higher bands, you start getting some really nice low angle radiation with some pretty good gain. So it can be an excellent DX antenna. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the radiation patterns. So here I have a simple model of an 80-meter loop in a square configuration. I've fed it on one of the sides, but you can also feed it in the corner. Just note that that will change the radiation patterns. So on 80 meters, this antenna is going to be mostly an NVIS antenna, and I have it at 12 meters of height, which is approximately a little over 39 feet. So as you can see here, most of the radiation is going straight up. So an NVIS antenna, it'll be good for regional contacts. And then on 40 meters, we start seeing a little bit lower angles of radiation. The 3D model kind of helps see what's going on. As you can see here, the feed point's located right here, and opposite the feed point is the strongest lobe, but we kind of have 4 main lobes here. And then on 30 meters, it'll continue to drop the elevation. Right now the takeoff is 34 degrees, and we're getting around 7 dBi off of these front corners. The feed point again is in this location. So around 7, and then on the back about 6.5. But on 20 meters, this antenna starts looking pretty good. So now the takeoff is 24 degrees, and we're getting 10 dBi on these front lobes. And then towards the feed point, we're getting 8.6. So looks really good. And then at 5 degrees, let's see what we got. 0.5 dBi. And then on 17 meters, you can see now the takeoff is around 19 degrees, and we're getting 11.9 dBi off of these lobes, and then towards the feed point around 10. If we look at 5 degrees off the horizon, we're at 4.3 dBi and 3 off the backside. On 15 meters, this isn't really a good representation. If you look at the 3D model, it kind of helps see what's going on. So again, the feed point is right here, and opposite the feed point, we have these 2 lobes. If we drop this down to 12 degrees, I think that's where we're getting, 9.7 dBi at 12 degrees. and then off of these back, it's a little bit less, 7.8. And then if we drop this down to 5 degrees, now we're at 4.1 dBi off of these lobes, and these are a little bit less than that. I'm going to skip 12 meters just for the sake of time, and then here is 10 meters. Now we've got a takeoff of 11 degrees, and you can see we've got a bunch of lobes, but we're getting 12.5 dBi on some of them and around 11 on some of the others. And if we drop this down to 5 degrees, we're getting 8.9 dBi, a little bit less off the back side. And of course, you can tune this on 6 meters. But it's going to kind of look like a porcupine on 6 meters. So I'll kind of show you, you can see how many lobes and nulls we have on 6 meters. But at 7 degrees, we're at 10.5 dBi. So 11 on this one. So really interesting antenna. Now you might be asking yourself why I put up a 40-meter loop instead of an 80-meter loop. Well, unfortunately, I live in an HOA, and so I don't think I could get away with a full 80-meter loop. And it's quite frustrating living in an HOA when you're really into this hobby, especially trying to do contests. Oftentimes, I'll put up various antennas for a contest and then take them down. I've tried parasitic arrays here at the house. Sometimes I'll put up my Buddy hex beam. Lately, for contests, what I'll do is actually deploy just a 20-meter dipole and get it up about 40 feet. Of course, I take that down pretty quickly afterwards, but that seems to be the better performer. But it's nice to have an antenna that's just up and I can just go in the shack and make contacts. And now my 40-meter loop is not an ideal configuration and it's really not that high, but it does seem to work pretty well. I deployed this antenna in kind of a triangle shape. Near my shack, I have 2 sections of top rail, chain link fence top rail. And so it's approximately 22 feet. And then it goes up to my chimney, which is about 30 feet tall. And then it goes over to a tree for the third side. And that's also probably around 22 feet. Here's a look at how I deployed the antenna. This is the feed point location near my shack. Here's the chain link top rail. And I 3D printed a center insulator where the ladder line hooks up to the loop. And this side goes over to my chimney. Here you can see it's attached to the chimney, and that's approximately 30 feet up in the air. And I used some heavy duty bungee cords to kind of allow it to move a little bit with the wind. And here's the third side of the loop. I've got a pulley in this tree. I couldn't get it to the top of the tree because my trees have some very thin branches at the top. So I tried to use a little bit thicker branch. And that is on a pulley, so hopefully when it gets real windy, it'll allow it to give a little bit. Now, one of the issues with this wire, hopefully you can see it here, it is pretty close to my roof on this side, and I do have a metal roof, so that's definitely going to have an impact on the performance. But so far it seems to be working fairly well. So I did my best to model this antenna. As you can see here, I've got the high side right here. The feed point is on the lower side. This side is slightly higher than the feed point. So if we look at 40 meters, let me make sure this is 0. 40 meters, again, it's mostly high, but we're getting a little bit of gain at lower angles. And then take a look at 30 meters, and this antenna seems to work pretty well for me at 30 meters. As you can see, it's kind of squashed down a little bit. So we're getting, 3 dBi at 35 degrees. And of course, not much at really low angles. On 20 meters, you can see that now we're getting 6.7 dBi at 39 degrees. Now that is pretty high, but we're actually getting a little bit of gain lower. Now the feed point is in this location, and that is towards the northeast. So most of the gain of the big lobe is towards the southwest, which is not ideal. I wish I could orient the antenna in the opposite direction, but that's just not an option for me. So 6.7 at, or 6.8 at 39 degrees. And then, let's see, this is 10 degrees here. We're getting negative 0.5. And then at 5 degrees, we're at negative 6. So it's not terrible. Now the back lobe is a little bit less. We're getting around 4.7 at 32 degrees. And at 10 degrees, we're at negative 1.5 and even less at 5 degrees. On 17 meters, again, the main lobe is opposite the feed point. So now we're getting around 8 dBi at 30 degrees. At 20 degrees, we're at 7 dBi. At 10, 2.7. And at 5 degrees, we're at negative 2.8. And again, the lobe towards the feed point is not quite as good, but we're still getting 6.5 dBi at 27 degrees. And then at 10 degrees, we're at 1.7. On 15 meters, again, the main lobe is opposite the feed point. 7.4 dBi at 25 degrees, so it looks pretty good on 15 meters. Now, in this direction right here, that's actually straight towards New Zealand, so I might be making some new friends in New Zealand with this antenna. 10 degrees, 3.2, and then at 5 degrees, we're at negative 2.1. And again, the back lobe, a little bit less, 3.9 dBi at 21 degrees. 10, it's 0.5. And then on 10 meters, 10 dBi at 20 degrees. So pretty good on 10 meters, 7.1 at 10 degrees. And then at 5 degrees, we're at 2 dBi. And again, the back lobe is not quite as strong, but it still has some pretty good gain. I actually tuned this thing up on 6 meters and hit an RBN just sending out a test about 1,100 miles away. And that was in kind of this direction. So we're getting 9.7 dBi on the weaker lobe. Opposite the feed point, we're at 13.6 dBi at 11 degrees. And then at 5 degrees, we're at 10.1 dBi. And this back lobe, 9.7 at 11, and at 5, we're at 6.3. So I've had this antenna up a couple days now, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's not the best antenna in the world, but band conditions have been quite challenging. Here's a look at the contacts that I've made over the last couple days. And then here's a look at the RBN spots. This was the first day I had the antenna up, and you can tell that my signal is getting out to the west pretty well. This is a look at the RBN spots the second day I had the antenna up. And as you can see, I actually hit Australia and New Zealand on 40 meters, and then I hit New Zealand on 20 meters. And the signal noise ratio on 20 meters in New Zealand was 38 dB. I was able to contact my buddy Jim, WB0RLJ, and I got him on 17 meters and 20 meters, and here's what my signal sounded like in Nebraska. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have space to put up an 80-meter loop, I think it would be a great antenna to try, especially if you can get it up, 30 to 40 feet. If you don't have space for that, a 40-meter loop still works well. Anyway, I'll catch you next time. 73.